ke mhla ka-29 September walolukhetho lelukhulu lukhetho lwesibili lesongilona loluyi-final ngalawo magama amalangeni sikhutha lwandle sibongele live eBongozi bayethe wena waphakathi wena ungangezindaba Bose.
This is Eswatini TV News at 8. I am Natilesi Tole alongside Nomaxabiso Nkambule. First up, here's a look at our top stories this evening. The Kingdom of Eswatini is working on developing an indigenous knowledge policy systems and institutional frameworks. The Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority is impressed with the turnout of small and medium enterprises at the Eswatini International Trade Fair. The Eswatini Economic Policy Analysis and Research Center, in collaboration with FinClude, has launched a survey to ensure access to financial services for medium, small and micro enterprises. Good evening. Glad to have you with us. The Kingdom of Eswatini is working on developing an indigenous knowledge policy systems and institutional frameworks. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Communications, Technology, Pesha Dube, says the policy will contribute to the social and economic development of Eswatini. Dube was speaking during a meeting that hosted the Indigenous Knowledge Advisory Group held in Lubamba, where Dube was represented by Director of National Archives, Ngaba Msibi.
The Kingdom of Eswatini possesses a rich indigenous knowledge. However, currently there is no indigenous knowledge policy and framework to support and nurture the promotion and the protection of IKs in the country. The Indigenous Knowledge Advisory Group met with regional and international partners to ensure a broad and inclusive perspective reflective of the unique rights and interest of Emaswati. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of ICT, represented by Ngoba Msibi, says investing in the exchange of KIs and its integration into the assistance program of Eswatini can help reduce poverty.
Indigenous knowledge systems are being recognized by the country as inherently encompassing most of the aspects and principles of sustainable development goals, strengthening the systems of innovation, and key in transforming the country from a resource-based economy to a knowledge-based economy. Ladies and gentlemen, these systems provide the basis for problem-solving strategies for local communities, especially the poor. It is unfortunate that this important knowledge is an underutilized resource in the development process.
The Director for ICT, Dr. Rejoice Masego, says the Kingdom visited a number of countries to acquire more knowledge and skills that will help develop a local policy. The Kingdom of Eswatini has put in place a number of policies around environment and arts and culture. Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Tembashabangu, Lobamba.
The Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority is impressed with the way small and medium enterprises responded towards the call to showcase their products at the Eswatini International Trade Fair alongside well-established businesses. According to the APIS Domestic Trade Promotions Officer, Sipesihle Ngabinze, small and medium enterprises were able to get equal opportunities to showcase their products. Ngabinze says the authority noted different innovations from these businesses.
In terms of opportunities, ngidawuse alingene nalabo samabhizinisi lamakhulu sonke losibosomabhizinisi lamakhulu utawukhanza usibona babe sebadlala inzima yokuthatha itandi leti nkulu kakhulu lo utawukhanza.
In terms of opportunities, all types of businesses receive equal opportunities, despite the fact that investors and established businesses had stalls. We saw SMEs coming out in their numbers, embracing the opportunities availed to them. We know that it is about exposure and interacting with clients. We saw an impressive response from vendors, restaurants to the exhibition halls. We also saw huge numbers of young people. The purpose of the trade fair is to provide equal trade opportunities for all businesses to grow to contribute to the economy. We are hopeful that next year, more businesses, especially SMEs, will also use this opportunity to showcase their businesses so they can get to a point where they grow.
The establishment of Eswatini Higher Education Council is beneficial to the Kingdom of Eswatini as it helps the country to not only rely on foreign-designed educational programs but design its own that will speak to its needs. This was said by the Secretary of the Eswatini Association of Higher Education Institutions, Oliver Museka, when speaking to this station's journalists about the impact of the Council on higher education institutions since its establishment through the Higher Education Act of 2013.
The Secretary of Eswatini Association of Higher Education Institutions, Oliver Mseka, praises government for enacting the law to regulate higher education in the country.
So coming in of ISHEC, he has brought in a very good improvement, a big improvement in terms of standardization and creating standards of what needs to be followed, what needs in guidelines and procedures of how we need to run private and public institutions. We are benefiting a lot from ISHEC because we've seen them rolling out a number of capacity building and development programs, notably quality assurance training, where they've brought in external consultants to come and capacitate institutions on quality assurance, which is the key or the backbone of education.
The Advocacy and Communications Officer of Eswatini Higher Education Council, Mihla Khumalo, says they are on a drive to increase public knowledge on how to go about selecting properly accredited institutions to further their education.
ISHEC-ke usebenza ngalokuthi kulawo ma-university noma lawo ma-college lakhona uyawa-assessa noma awahlole makacala lokuthi ayayilandzela yini imigomo. Le migomo lesiyibukako i-10 lwati liyatfolakala sikhona la ku-social media kwatise ukuthi nyalo tintfo setenteka ku-social media siyatfolakala ku-social media sikhona ka-Facebook sikhona ka-Twitter sikhona naka-LinkedIn.
There are about 20 members of Eswatini Association of Higher Education Institutions, and the Secretary advises those who are starting up to join them for proper guidance. On the news, I'm Mbongwa Dube with Mpendulo Kumbi in Babane.
In a bid to ascertain if medium, small and micro enterprises in Eswatini are able to access financial services to sustain their businesses, the Eswatini Economic Policy Analysis and Research Center, in collaboration with the Center for Financial Inclusion, has launched an MSME survey. According to ESAPAC's Senior Research Fellow, Mangaliso Mohammed, MSMEs will be interviewed to establish the type of businesses that they do and also to find out if they are financially included. The survey will commence on Wednesday until the end of October.
In the first stage, we are going to go through 320 selected enumeration areas in Eswatini, where we are going to be visiting households as well as business establishment. So these are MSMEs, so the small businesses, the medium and the micro businesses, where first of all, we're going to just establish the number of MSMEs in the economy in Eswatini. And then once we have established that, we're going to come back in phase 2, mid-October, where we are going to be doing in-depth interviews with select businesses. So there we're going to pick 3,500 small business owners, where we're going to have an in-depth interview about how they interact with financial services and products offered by the different financial service providers in the economy. So in that, we want to see if usage of financial products is improving in the economy, especially to develop our MSMEs, and then if there are any opportunities that we need to capitalize on. So some of the policy recommendations are going to push towards that, but also if there are products that small businesses like and those products are really working for them, we want to make sure that we continue providing those services in the economy.
The Ministry of Health is urging Eswatini to visit health facilities to get information and get screened on non-communicable diseases such as sugar diabetes. Vusi Shabangu, a non-communicable diseases coordinator, said this during a workshop for nurses from all 4 regions of Eswatini.
The Ministry of Health had a workshop where nurses who were coming from health centers around the kingdom were trained on non-communicable diseases. Vusi Shabangu, who is the non-communicable diseases coordinator in the Ministry of Health, says such trainings are important since the burden of NCDs is getting worse in the kingdom.
We are training nurses here from different facilities across the country, capacitating them to manage these conditions, whereby they will be able to screen clients on NCDs, also create awareness on NCDs, manage those who are diagnosed with these NCDs, also to make sure that they bring these services closer to the people.
Nelisiwe Gunene, a nurse who attended the workshop, says that she's learning a lot concerning the non-communicable diseases since they have given much attention to COVID-19, neglecting the NCDs.
It's benefiting my profession a lot. To be specific, we've overlooked NCDs and focused to the new pandemics that came. So I think having such training, it's really helping us because we're getting to see our gaps and we're getting to know what we are going back to do in the facilities.
According to the Health Organization, Eswatini suffer more from type 2 diabetes, cancer, and chronic respiratory disease. Reporting is Cindy Swazwane with Temba Shabangu, Eswatini.
Eswatini has joined hands with the world in commemorating the World Suicide Prevention Day to honor victims of suicide and bringing hope to people with psychiatric issues. The National Psychiatric Center's clinical psychologist, Pepile Sugati, says the hospital, in working jointly with government, has raised several programs that seek to bring psychiatric assistance countrywide. Sugati said this at the National Psychiatric Center during the commemoration of the World Suicide Prevention Day under the theme Creating Hope Through Action.
In an interview with the Eswatini National Psychiatric Center's clinical psychologist Pepile Sugati, she says it is one of their mandate as a health department to help prevent suicide in the country.
So basically, this theme is all about creating awareness when coming to issues of suicide. And the theme that we're using, we are saying that we are creating hope through action, meaning that everyone needs to play a role when coming to issues of suicide.
Eswatini Royal Police Services Information and Communications Officer Pindile Vilegati says suicide cases are increasing drastically every year, and she advises Eswatini to visit various organizations who deal with psychiatric issues whenever they have challenges.
We are noting as well that we do have people who die from a suspicion of suicide. If we compare the 2 years, which is 2022 and 2023, we noted that we only have an increase of 1 person because the previous year, between January and August, we had 94 people who died from suicide. And this year, we recorded 95 cases, which shows that we are having such cases now and again. And out of this 94, 82 are males. And in this year, 2023, 71 are males. The number of males dying is bigger than those of females. So it is a very great concern.
According to a 2019 World Health Organization report, Eswatini is amongst the top 5 countries in the world with the most suicide cases. For Eswatini TV, I'm Pendulo Kumbi with Mbongwa Dube, Manzini.
The Elections and Boundaries Commission and residents from Ngamanzi Chiefdom under Lutse constituency gathered at the Ngamanzi Umphakathi where nominees were campaigning ahead of the secondary elections. Ngamanzi residents got an opportunity to ask the nominees what they shall do to assist the constituency should they be elected.
Nominees from Lutse constituency have promised Ngamanzi residents that they will deliver developmental projects and also assist young people in terms of income-generating projects. The residents had also had an opportunity to pose questions to all the nominees.
They asked on what changes will the nominees bring to the constituency if they are given an opportunity. The people of Nkamanzi wanted to know on how the nominees will assist the communities in terms of infrastructure, basically the roads. Some residents pleaded with the nominees not only to focus on the youth, but also consider the elderly when it comes to development programs.
Ngamanzi residents also requested the Election and Boundaries Commission to release the results from the special voting promptly and avoid any discrepancies and complaints. Reporting for Eswatini TV News is Sebenele Mthethwa with Themba Shabangu, Ngamanzi, Lutze.
And now we'll have a look at our financial indicators.
Standard Bank. It can be.
And in sports, the Premier League has confirmed that both stadiums, being the Somhlolo National and Mavuso Sports Centre, will not be available for use at the kickoff of the new MTN Premier League season that kicks off this coming weekend. Premier League says Somhlolo is yet not ready for use for the local league games as renovations are still ongoing. The new Premier League season kicks off on the 17th of September this year.
Now, we begin our sports roundup with the Premier League of Eswatini that has confirmed that they have not received yet access to use the National Stadium, Somhlolo, to kick off their 2023-2024 Premier League season. The Premier League went on to mention that Mavuso Sports Centre will also not be available for the kick-off this coming weekend. The Premier League went on to highlight that the issue of the National Stadium, Somhlolo, will officially be communicated as they have not received yet confirmation for the use of the stadium as there is more renovations to be conducted. By the time of compiling this report, the Ministry of Sports had not responded to when will the facility be ready for use. Last week, President of the National Football Association, Peter Simerani, mentioned that only issues of generator and big screen are the remaining items for the completion of the stadium. The absence of the two venues for the kick-off the new Premier League season this coming weekend will only mean that the next options will be to use King Sobhuza Memorial II and Galanga Stadium in Stegi, where the two stadiums can be used for the grand opening. In other news, the National Football Association President Peter Simerane has revealed that there is already an increase of 25% on the grants that are handed over to member associations of the Football Association. The increase means member associations will receive 3 million emalangeni from the recent 2.4 million emalangeni. Lastly, in our international news, French player Paul Pogba has been provisionally suspended from football activities after testing positive for an anti-doping substance. Pogba was tested after Juventus' victory against Udinese on the 20th of August this year. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Mbabane.
That's all for now. Before I go, here's a reminder of our headlining stories. The Kingdom of Eswatini is working on developing an indigenous knowledge policy systems and institutional frameworks. The Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority is impressed with the turnout of small and medium enterprises at the Eswatini International Trade Fair. The Eswatini Economic Policy Analysis and Research Center, in collaboration with FinClude, has launched a survey to ensure access to financial services for medium, small and micro enterprises. And with that, it's a wrap. Up next is the update from myself and the team. Many thanks for your company. Take care.
Bongosi egameni lelibandla letelkhetho nemingcele tinkundla ngingusihlalo walo libandla sihlanganyela nesive malangeni lamahle kuhalalisela ingwenyama inkosi yethu inkosi Mswati wesithathu minyakeni lamashumi lasihlanu nakuhlanu kanye nelive longana kundiphethe wethu ukuthi lo lingana nabo netinsuku tengwenyama letingu 55 nananathi sisive seMaswati sina leminyaka ilengu 55 sesikhululekile ngandiphethe. Siyabonga ke bongosi sisahalalisele emakhosi ethu nelive ukuthi nebayitolo lekungibona lesithi basebenta lelive makhosi ayitolo nesive seMaswati sonke sayitolo ngoba lokhu lesesifike lamhla siyasakukhanza lesikuhalaliselako ngilokuchamuka kibo lekubita ke ukuthi ke nathi siMaswati njengekukhonjwa indlela makhosi ngosi yelive sichubekeni silibeke live libe ngiloko lekungona lesikukhanzile nathi nalokungcono Maswati silibandla lelikhetho nemingcele sisahalalisele makhosi nelive ngandiphethe sijinga siphinze futhi siwabongele makhosi ngemsebenzi losetulo eveni welkhetho sisitengcile tigaba tokuqala lebesikito nyalo ke sekuseleke sigaba lesesisetulu ke lokungisona sona ke lesisitawusiniketa iparlamente yethu isinikete futhi emabandla enkundla lokuba ubuchopho ke lobakhiwa induna tetinkundla lokungibona bosihlalo bese ke nabobuchopho bemiphakathi benkundla labakha lobuchopho lelibandla lenkundla lekungilona lelisebenzisana kanye neparlamente nahulumende welive leMaswati wonkana. Bongosi emalanga umuntu akandlulise lokuthi umhla ka-26 we-special voting bese ulandzela ke umhla ka-29 September walolukhetho lelukhulu lukhetho lwesibili lesongilona loluyi-final ngalawo magama amalangeni sikhutha lwandle sibongele live bongosi bayethe wena waphakathi wena ungangezindaba Nkosi.
Ibandla letelukhetho nemingcele Elections and Boundaries Commission bathi sasive ukuthi kuvota ngalokukhetsekile special voting kutawuba mhla tingemashumi lamabili nesitfupha kulesetulu 26 September 2023 kanti lukhetho lolukhulu lona kutawubanjwa mhla tingemashumi lamabili nemfica kulesetulu 29 September 2023 ngete ngasala nasakha live letfu.
What do you think the best part of traveling is?